What did you think about the death of Foggy?
Well, first off, his Bullseye's intro was pretty cool. I like
Yeah.
the little throwback that he killed a fly like just in passing with a paperclip, and that's a callback
Hmm.
to Colin Farrell's Bullseye when he with the end credits and stuff, and he kills a fly with a paperclip. I think it was a paperclip or a needle or something. But very cool. It felt very much more comic bookish, and that's a good thing because it's very much like they really showcase like his powers, even though they're not powers, but they're his skills. Pretty much never missing anything, and he's just like ricocheting stuff off when he's fighting Daredevil, and of course Daredevil. He's just like the perfect arch nemesis for Bullseye because he can see all of it coming, so he misses him all the time. But yeah, I didn't expect when he's on that rooftop that he was actually going to pull it off because I had an inkling feeling that they were going to kill off either him or Karen or both because they didn't want him on the show in the first place. So I thought that's what was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen so soon, and it was very well done. I think I forget the actress's name, the one who plays Karen. Uh,
Deborah
Deborah Ann
and
Woll. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
she did such a good job emotionally while she's like holding on to Foggy's like wound and trying to put some pressure on her, and she's just dying inside, just trying to keep him alive while shit's going on in the roof. So it was very emotional first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I have to completely agree. It was incredibly emotional. It kind of hits us with like the good feels, and then they killed him, and it just completely destroys us. And we kind of maybe predicted this when we watched the trailer, where we felt that someone was going to die, either Karen or Foggy, and
Mm-hmm.
that would be the whole reason why the mask is falling, and he's not Daredevil anymore. And we were kind of right, so pat on the back to both of us for that. Um, I thought it was so obvious that someone was going to die, just because everyone was so happy. We're at Cherry's retirement party, and then we just get that phone call, and everything just gets really serious at once. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was going to be done right there on the street with Bullseye. I didn't know, obviously, I didn't know that Bullseye was going to be the one to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
it did feel like, oh, something was going to happen. And then, so for me, um, I thought that the first two episodes obviously was very impactful and kind of, for the very first time, I felt that Marvel had a TV series. It felt like an actual TV series. We're so used to like the other ones where it was like just the 6 episodes and that was it. It felt, even tone wise, like, hey, this is something that, you just watch to, a quick thing here and there. This feels like it's something that's much more meaningful and deep. And
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it is something that is more grounded and it's closer to a TV series. As someone, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I've seen I've seen the entire season. And I will say it reminded me very much of a very serious version. It's hard to say very serious, but of Law and Order SVU. Not even SVU, just Law and Order in general.
Yeah.
Criminal Intent, all of them. It gets messy. Things gets messy. And so it felt like that, but it also felt like a whole bunch of other serious series as well. So overall, just getting the series feel like this is a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing what they end up doing with this. But for me, with the first 2 episodes overall, it was such a great introduction and a reminder of who these characters are, and to take us back into the journey of that world and into the world of New York City, because we'll get into Wilson Fisk and everything else. But I thought it was just so good. And the death of Foggy, I know a lot of people are mad and I know a lot of people are upset, but I feel it this way: something had to happen to this group, because we've been with them for 3 seasons. 6 years is kind of passed in between that. I felt that we can't keep doing the same thing, like it be the trio. As much as we may want it, I feel that without Foggy there, we can explore different sides to the character. Which is why, for example, and we'll get to episode 2, we get that scream at the end. We would have never gotten that. if Foggy was still alive and it was just the three of them doing cases together. And I
Hmm.
think it really catapults the character into something that is much greater. And it makes the risk, him becoming, him dropping the mantle of not being Daredevil anymore, and what that means for the city. Even though he was in Daredevil for a while, but him deciding that whole year after, the funeral, he's not doing this anymore, the horn breaking was just so much more powerful with Foggy being dead.
Hmm.
So, that is another thing. And I kind of wanted to go into the conspiracy theory of, do you think Foggy is even actually dead?
Um, so I'm not a really strong reader of the Daredevil comics. I know the basics and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I always keep my ear and my eye out in social media about theories and just people's opinions on the show in general. And one of the things I ran into was that there is a comic issue where Foggy does fake his death, and they kind of had Easter eggs on the first episode that kind of alluded to that particular issue, even. Um, where Foggy dies and he fakes his death. He eventually comes back. So that is a possibility. I don't know how likely that is, but it's still a possibility because comic books. And the only reason why I think that's a little bit iffy is just because Matt was listening to his heartbeat as he was dying,
Mhm.
and you can hear it dying. You can hear the heart stop, and I don't know how you can fake that unless they're gonna come up with something. They say, "Oh, he got injected into something and it killed him for like 2 minutes, and he was able to take himself away, and then they revived him backward." Some crazy shit like that. But it's possible. So I would prefer something like that because I like Foggy's character, and I think that would be a very dramatic entrance for him to show up and then see how Matt Murdock's life and Karen's life changes again, and how they feel about Foggy if he does come back that way. Like, why would he go through such lengths to do something like that? Because
Mhm.
again, you're right. Like, it's changed their lives. And especially Matt trying to not be the violent person that he is, and that scream at the end was just like finally just he just broke. So
Mhm.
it was almost like cathartic for him because it even though he stopped being Daredevil for a year, it never really seemed like he mourned. It never really seemed like he really like felt the impact of Foggy's death. It was more so of just him trying to like keep everything together, keep everything the same. As he was talking with Karen in the courthouse, he was like trying to just like, I don't want you to go. Can we talk a little bit? Can we have some coffee? It's almost like he was just trying to hold on to what he already had, so there's no more change, so everything could kind of stay normal. And then I think that was like that breaking point of just like things are different.
Right. I am very mixed upon this. Because what they said, and I really wish that Marvel would just shut up, because they should have never revealed that he would be in season two. We don't know if that's
Yeah.
him as in present or him as in a past, flashbacks. We've dealt a lot with characters in flashbacks before. And I just kind of wish that sometimes when you have a good thing going, just don't talk. And I think the reason why they talked is because they're scared of losing the audience.
They have
And
that
if you
same
lose,
issue that WWE has. Whenever they announce PLEs, they always announce
Mhm.
spoilers, like this wrestler is coming back after X amount of years, or this wrestler
right.
is, gonna have a feud with this person or whatever. It's just like,
Hmm.
let give us a surprise, give us something to like talk about, and not just
Right.
spoiled.
Like how great would Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness have been had we not known the whole X-Men situation?
Yeah, imagine Xavier walking on in. Yeah.
Imagine. And we hear that music and everyone would have lost it naturally.
Hmm.
That would have been amazing. But yeah, for me, Marvel talks too much. I will say that I'm on the fence of whether or not I want him back and in what
Hmm.
capacity. Now, what you're referring to is right here, this is the scene of the Easter egg.
468. Yep.
We're at the So we're at the address of Nelson, Murdock, and Page, which is a law firm. Now, if you see on the, I don't know which side it would be for you, but for me, it's the right hand side,
Same.
where it says 468. That goes to comic book Daredevil 468, which is the secret life of Foggy Nelson, where he faked his own death and he's ended up in in protective custody. Now, the reason why I say that this is important because one, you don't just drop Easter eggs like that, knowing that your fans are such eagle eyes when it comes to Easter eggs and know every darn thing about comic books. Another thing is this: when we get into the courtroom scene, after the courtroom scene, we have Karen Page who ends up talking to Matt, who gives him the horn. Because
Yeah.
remember, he's not Daredevil anymore, and he's like, "Here's a piece of the horn, be Daredevil again," but he doesn't say anything. She doesn't want to talk to him. And it's easy to watch that scene and say, she's hurt. There's a lot of emotion that goes through. They didn't talk for a very long time after he died. She reached out. He ghosted her. There's a lot of feelings. She came for Foggy. But you
Mm-hmm.
can also make this argument here. Matt can tell when you're lying. And the less you talk to him, the less he's going to figure out things.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she in San Francisco? Why is she really in San Francisco? Why would she give up her whole career in New York City to go to San Francisco? Who's really out there? Could it be Foggy? Could she know what exactly is going on and exactly why she cut that whole conversation
Maybe
short?
so. Maybe she just wanted out of the whole Daredevil lifestyle.
We don't know. Maybe she's there to protect Foggy. What would Foggy's motive be to kind of kill himself and fake his own death?
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, we want you to not be Daredevil again, so I'm going to just die. That doesn't really seem to make any sense to me. We do know the whole situation where at the very end, the finale of Daredevil season 3, where Fisk said, I promise not to kill anyone. I'm not going to kill your friends. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether or not I believe that or what's going on, but it doesn't make any sense for like that threat to be an actuality. And we'll get back to that later because there's other characters that probably would do that. But um, so I'm just kind of wondering, what would be the point of faking your own death? What is the overall reaching thing? And I can't really think of that. It's not to say, oh, I don't want you to be Daredevil anymore. It doesn't really make any sense. But at the same time, Foggy's last words to Daredevil was, I didn't want to give you, what was it? I didn't want to give you a chance or a choice to, put on that suit again.
Was that
So
that was in that first episode? I don't remember that.
it was in the first episode. He
Oh, I
was like, I
missed
didn't
that.
want to give you a reason. He
Okay.
was like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And then you remember he ran down the street and went to go change into Daredevil stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I didn't want to give you a reason. But it just, nothing just really makes sense. And then to go like, how the whole heartbeat situation was so emotional because as he's fighting, you can hear the heartbeat and he's checking in to see if you can hear the heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are medications that you can inject yourself with that slows the heartbeat down and makes it seem like you're actually dead. And then the other argument is we didn't see him get carried away with the police. When they come and pick up the body, it's been over 15 minutes. How long
Mm-hmm.
are you keeping this guy dead? So there's so many things that I really don't know, but I just feel that the fact that them including that scene with the 468 and knowing how people are really anal about details, he just might actually be alive.
I
Yeah?
have a question for you. There's a
Yeah.
debate going on, and I really like this debate. So when Foggy dies, Karen is holding on to him. She's crying, she's bawling, and then she hears a body fall behind her. She looks
Uh-huh.
back very slowly, like or she reacts in a way of just like I don't want to find out whose body that is. So there's this debate going on. How do you feel? She either thinks that she thought it was Matt and that he had died also, so she didn't want to turn around. But then when she did
Uh-huh.
turn around, she noticed it was Bullseye, and she was a little bit relieved, but she was also still in shock because maybe her reaction was, "Oh my God, Matt finally snapped and killed somebody," because we all know his rule is no killing. So
Right.
there's this debate on whether like Karen didn't want to look back because she thought it was Matt, or didn't want to look back because Matt had finally killed someone?
Hmm. I never paid attention to that because I thought she was just, startled. His body's dropping out the thing. And then not only that, remember the whole situation where people died around her.
Yeah.
Bullseye killed like, what was it, 5, 10 people? So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just like a direct hit and then I'm gonna go on my way. He murdered everyone almost in that bar and up the stairs in the
Mm-hmm.
apartments. So yeah, I thought that it was more of when the body dropped and she didn't want to turn around. She would have. I thought that it was more of she just didn't know in general. But if you can make the argument that it was Matt, I don't think that she would have thought that it was Matt. I think she was just in such a shock and panic that it could have been Bullseye.
No, I
I don't know.
really think that she thought, she was thinking, "Oh my God, Matt finally did it," and she wanted to look back in confirmation of just like, "Yeah, Matt finally did it." Like he tried to kill. I mean, obviously he failed at killing Bullseye, but that was his thought. He literally, it looked like he didn't even hesitate. He just tossed him off as soon as
Uh-huh.
Foggy's heartbeat stopped. He was pissed. So like that was a breaking point for him too, and I think Karen kind of saw that.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. It was such a sudden and horrific death, even though we didn't see like, the whole body fall, like that close up. We just
Mm-hmm.
saw it in a distance.
Mm-hmm.
It was so brutal
Mm-hmm.
to just, throw someone off of a building like that. And like just a careless, like, boop motion. Um, yeah, I really think that, it, I'm so stuck because it's like in that moment she would just be in a panic, just in general, like, oh my god, what else is falling?
Yeah,
What else is happening next?
that's fair.
Because
Yeah.
she was fighting for her life too. She pulled out the gun too. And
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of happened so quickly with him getting shot. She's immediately trying to keep him alive. She's covered in blood. He's dead. People around her is dead. There's a body that just dropped. So I didn't even think that she was thinking about Matt or Bullseye at that point. I think she was so zoned in that the body dropping kind of snapped her out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be just my thing. It was neither. It was just like a snap to reality situation. So I don't
That's
I
fair.
don't know.
That's
But
fair.
it's I'm trying. I'm trying. But yeah, so I don't know whether or not Foggy is alive or he's gonna be like past alive. I really wish that sometimes characters would just stay dead. We know that Marvel likes to bring back characters that were dead and
Variants.
bring them back to life. Huh?
Now they got these variants. You could easily replace them.
Yeah, do not variant this show. Please do not variant this. And do not Agatha all along it. Oh my God. That angered me so much that they brought her back. I'm like, why? Let her stay dead and her learn from her consequences and like she's dead. But they just brought her back and it's gonna just be annoying and I hate everything about that.